Folks, one day some of these tiny conflicts between the Germans and the French is going to ignite the powder keg that is Europe. And that day has arrived right now. It is the year 1893 and we have a war on our hands between the Germans and the French Commune. And this is a rather interesting war because both of them demand something that would make them, aesthetically more pleasing. The Germans want Alsace-Lorraine and an open communard market. On the other hand, the French demand the Rhineland be turned over. I am now seeing here that the British are in this war as well. What are they getting? They're getting communard guineas. So they are going to take this territory right here. So they are being paid in colonies, whereas the Germans are demanding what they perceive to be their core lands. Now I asked you, and I'm going to be honest with you, this was not clear at all. There were so many different takes, so many different approaches to this. What should we do in this war? We aren't really connected to either side here. I mean, Paris is beautiful. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous city. The Eiffel Tower is an inspiration to all of us, I think. And yet, if you really think about it, the Germans helped the Papists against us, the French took Savoy and then didn't actually help us against Austria, not to mention, of course, that they are now communists. They are indeed, even with cooperative ownership, and obviously we have a government that is a bit friendly, I think, when it comes to the notion of bourgeois ownership. Everybody here respects that at the end of the day. Then we have the British, who we are also not too friendly towards because, well, they hold Malta, they hold of course, parts of the land in the world that we would rather hold. And then we have Russia, who hasn't jumped in yet, but who's without a doubt an absolute enemy of ours. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I am not entirely sure what we're going to do yet. Right now, I am indeed, much like most of the comments, I think, not all too inclined to side with the French. There's just not all that much that they could give us. I will say, however, that, well, Savoy would be nice, and the Germans would doubtlessly be giving it to us in this conflict. What I'm going to do for the time being is, I'm just going to wait. I will wait whether, there's anything interesting, whether other people jump into this war that would tip the scales too much in somebody's favor. If there's nothing too interesting here, and hey, this doesn't mean that I'm not going to jump in for Savoy or Corsica, if that were indeed on the table and beneficial for us, but for the time being, I'm like, I will wait, and unless something happens in this conflict, we might just use this opportunity to jump in against the Ottomans instead. The Germans and the Russians are allied to the Ottomans, and with the Germans busy, we could potentially dismantle this entire empire here while they are fighting themselves over just this particularly useless province right there. Hey, I will do whatever is good for Italy. Oh, and Sweden is sided with the Germans. Wait, what was your reason? This was call ally. Ah, you are just full-blown allies, huh? So Sweden and Germany against Britain and France. Should Russia jump into this? Then I would have to make a choice here. What is Russia currently doing? Nothing, huh? Yeah, this is without a doubt an uncertain prospect right here. We might jump in on the German side. Man, this is so difficult because we don't really endorse the values of German society either. Do we endorse these values more than we endorse them in the French? And then even it has to be said, the French are going very far right now. They're going with enact anarchy. That is insane. But there is a revolution brewing that surely would be successful, and can this revolution actually take Savoy? Let me check this right here. There is no rebellious... Yeah, there are no rebellious signs here over Savoy. Because I was thinking, if we don't intervene in this, and then a revolution triggers in France, I could ask that revolution to hand me Savoy, just in case, right? Like, just as one of those sort of gimmies, if we aid the revolution indeed against the communards. I would like to get rid of both of them, right? I want Savoy and I want the commune gone. Ah, man, we gotta really see where that goes because, hey, all of that is juicy, but taking the Sinai, maybe taking some lands for Greece, dismantling the Ottoman Empire, now that is the stuff that dreams are made out of. And during all this, we also have elections, and I actually want to take a bit of a moment here in this episode, just evaluating who we are as a society. We have universal suffrage, always keep this in mind, but many voters, you can see it right here, are just not politically aligned. Mostly laborers, peasants, machinists, and so on. What are we looking at? We are looking at a victory for the rural folk and for the far left. The Free Trade Party that was so important when it came to the revolution against the Papists is pretty much marginalized, but their interests are nonetheless respected. I think that is fair to say. Now, actual population right here, right? Who would they sympathize with when it comes to the domestic politics, but also to foreign politics? We are at this point almost 50% laborers. Wow, at 20% still peasants, then a decent amount of machinists, but the power is in the hand of the capitalists, of the farmers, and of the clergymen. Jesus Christ, look at this power distribution. The capitalists hold 41% of all the political strength in the country. Honestly, that is insane. We would probably have an industrialist oligarchy if it wasn't for universal suffrage. Outside of this, it's crazy just how impactful the North Italians are. 45% of them are the population, but 63% of political power are in their hands. I can only assume that this is nope, you are fully industrialized. Huh. I guess, yeah, it's Sicily and it's Naples, where there are a lot of unemployed and a lot of peasants, so a good chunk of the South Italian population not really having any impact because they are very, very poor and probably politically unaligned. You know, the longer I look at this, the more I'm thinking what we really need to do is get people to read. We need a much higher literacy rate than what we currently have. Yeah, I think our next reform project, if indeed the industrialists make it into government, would be moving away from religious schools here. There is a really big base just for the private schools, and it does up the intelligentsia political strength as well, which would be interesting at the very least. And you know what, the longer I look at this, the more am I thinking, yes, we are against the commune. Yes, we are against against Germany. No, we do not have any interest against Germany, but we do have an interest for Savoy and for Corsica. But I'm gonna be honest with you. The communards look as though they will fall, unless, for example, Russia or anybody else now continues to pile up on against them. I think we're just going to let this revolution play out. Maybe when the revolution pops out, maybe then we will actually go in and claim Savoy for ourselves and Corsica. But for the time being, a much more stable opponent that is in our way and in our immediate imperialist tendencies and, desires is the Empire. The Germans are in a position where they are allied, I kid you not, to the... Where are they? There they are. To the Ottoman Empire. With the Germans preoccupied, because this will be a long stretched out trench warfare right here in Alsace-Lorraine, I think I'm going to dismantle the Ottoman Empire. I will do the most imperialist thing without directly going against either the Germans or the French. We currently have no allies. There's no need to make firm enemies, except Russia, who definitely is a long-term permanent enemy, maybe until the end of the game even. We can live with this. This is a prolonged war keeping them busy so that we can actually live out what we need to do. The most important national security interest of Italy is not to retake Savoy. Yes, of course, there are Italians living there. 21% of that province are Italians. No, the most important national security question is securing the entire Mediterranean and indeed securing the Suez Canal, because then we can claim colonies here, we can claim colonies here, and we will come out on top, as we will have an actual direct way to protect them. And so with that being said, Ottoman Empire, I would like to declare a war against you in the name of freedom, of the self-determination of the peoples, of course. I will liberate a country from you. And I think, just looking at this, I really like Syria here, because Syria is actually more like the entire Levant. You can see it right here, they get everything along the coastline, which will give us something that we can then very, very quickly and easily get under our control. So this is a pretty good starting point. You can see there are a couple of other people involved here, but Britain and Germany are occupied. And then we only have Russia, and I think we can handle them. They are, of course, far behind our technology. Alright, and now we just have to take a look at what else we can do. I could sway a country. I could sway the Germans. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Where are all the other liberatable countries? I don't know, but I'm gonna say yes to Bosnia-Herzegovina. Somebody has to clean that up at some point, even if that is going to be me. Obviously, I have to return the Sinai. That is incredibly important, and then we got 63 moves left. Bulgaria sounds great. Then we only have these territories that we can claim at a separate occasion for our Greek puppet. What else is going on here? Liberate Iraq. Oh, that would be... We would have the entire way here that we could then, of course, get under our control, just because Syria and Iraq will be easy targets. Other than that, I could already claim land. I guess I could claim Cyprus, technically. How much is that? Cyprus is... there it is, 7. 7 infamy. I can do that in a separate war, I think. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead, liberate Iraq. I am completely dismantling the Ottoman Empire in a single war. And I don't think the Germans are gonna get involved. It's actually interesting to me that I kind of faked myself out. I recorded the video and I thought, who do we side with? What do we do here? There's so many things to do. But then I thought, wait a minute. Many commenters pointed this out as well. We could just go and completely dismantle the Ottomans while we're at it. And indeed, that is what we're going to do. Now, you can see here that this is a bloody war. We have siege artillery. We don't even have siege artillery. Jesus Christ. Against trench infantry. This is a hefty, hefty blood toll that both sides will be paying here. Very, very curious. Oh, and Russia sides with the Ottoman Empire. What do you get out of this? Oh, it's just the defensive pact, right? We can't do anything against the Russians, sadly, because I used all of my maneuvers. That is completely fine. Oh, you know, had I realized that Russia is going to come in here, I could have claimed this beautiful location, actually finishing out our colonial borders in a much, much nicer fashion than what it now will be. Listen, it is what it is, okay? We're gonna claim all that stuff later. Russia is not yet at the last fight against us. We're going to continue whittling them down. Obviously we will. And there you go. They have a defensive pact with the Ottomans, and yet they did not intervene. The Germans are busy, and I dare say that it was the smartest move to go ahead and quite literally just challenge the Ottomans while their overlord is busy. And this is a proud list of liberating countries. We are going to get so many puppets. Time to do a bit of an invasion right here. Ooh, I understaffed the 1st Italian Navy, but I'm also going to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure that this navy can take down anything the Ottomans could throw at us. Let me just check this. What do you got, buddy? You got frigates and men of wars. Come on. Man, if we had actual vessels, we would sink the entire Ottoman navy in a battle of the century as we go and take Constantinople. Beautiful. And a successful landing later. I will now be splitting this formation so that we can actually put it on this front line as well. I like how easy this is nowadays. My god, it was so painful back then. All you do, you just do this, press this button, it gives you something that is proportional, and then you send this guy to defend this front instead, and all of a sudden we're going to be pretty safe here. Obviously, I will be sending every single other army to defend and attack here as well. Let's clear them out. Alright, and the new election result is just in. The Agrarian Party and the far left are the big winners, but the Free Trade Party actually performed a bit better than I thought they would. We could reform this government. We could just have all of them in government, quite frankly. And honestly, I think we might. Then again, oh, that is so interesting. Is this the rehabilitation of the Catholic Church? The Catholic Church very clearly has given up on the idea of theocracy. Maybe it's okay to welcome them back in government? Then again, no, you know what? Let me just take a look at this. These are still radicals. I will say that these characters, that these party leaders still hold on to the idea, maybe not of a secular or a laïcité state, but on the idea of keeping the Catholic Church out of government. They are clearly not even respecting the Republic now again, because they are not running in the elections. So the way I see this is, no, we're going to govern with the industrialists. We have, of course, now a new ruler. Why do you get to be the Chancellor? Wait, who the hell are you? Oh, because it's the most powerful interest group. Oh, that is nasty. Right, so they score very poorly. But then the interest groups, the lobbying in our government is so massive that the industrialists get to be the king. Not just the kingmaker, but the king. Anyway, this is basically a unity government right here, if you will. Interesting that we have so many potential changes right there. Let's move and let's send our children to school. Our people need to start reading and we'll go from there. And in the meantime, we have now actually gotten the best technology as far as I'm concerned, and that technology is this right here. The electrics industry is unbelievably powerful because it makes it so that you can export this as a consumer good to every other country in the world, and they will eat it up. This will carry our economy, and I'm pretty sure that at this point, this is probably one of the last buildings that I will build manually. The rest we will now leave to the capitalists until or unless we were to go, for example, communist. And you know what? I would like a big industry right down here because these people have been suffering. Campania is in a difficult state. Let's build that for them and let's give them a future. And oh yes, speaking of which, by the way, the French are rising up. Will we get involved in this? Will we do anything about this here? Can you give me... Oh, they can't give me a war goal. And an obligation doesn't do anything. Wait a minute. Does obligation do anything for state trading? I don't think the AI can even state trade. And apparently I can't even click it because we're in a diplomatic play. I don't think they accept any state trading in the current version. The final version of 1.5 will allow you to do it, but right now the obligation just wouldn't really do much for us. Transfer states. I could... No way. I could make a deal. Oh my god. I could make a deal with the commune. I almost consider this an exploit, right? Right? I'm like, I could just be like, give me that land. Easy. Give me Corsica. Oh my god. But I don't want to help them. I do not want to help the communists. We are led by the industrialists. Come on. This is tempting, but I can't do it. I'm sorry. It's basically an exploit. I just cannot get myself to do it. See, listen, this is just what I'm talking about. When we attack, we completely decimate them, and then when they attack us, yeah, our defense with the trench infantry is just so high, they all get completely decimated. And you can see it right here again, just look at how quickly we completely destroy them. They never stood a chance. Let's be real, we are killing an already deceased empire. Alright, so let's check in with them right here. You can see Germany won their war. It was pretty easy, of course, after the revolution started. I mean, what can you expect? They have succeeded here, and it doesn't... Oh, God. No, actually, it totally does. As though our relations with them indeed are still quite murky. And honestly, I don't think we're gonna become friends. I gotta be honest with you. This is a revolution led by the military, by the industrialists and the petite bourgeoisie. This seems to be exactly who is likely to be our friend. Good thing that I didn't side with the commune. They did actually offer me Savoy, and I said I would rather the communists just disappear and we go from there. If we become friends with France, obviously Corsica and Savoy can be in their possession. It doesn't matter to us anymore at that point. Oh, and check out who has become an American puppet. I completely missed this. I think there must have been a revolution against the Spanish right here. And now Cuba is a puppet of the United States of America. Anything else right here? I don't think too much happened here. Brazil, of course, is in one piece for once. Other than that, what do you want me to say? It's disgusting, it's horrible, we all hate it, but it is also what it is. At the same time, I have given Siyak, and I gotta improve relations with them a little bit, I guess. I have given them some territory right here. It should be beautiful. I'm gonna claim Jambi long-term from the Spanish, and then this right here will be my sphere of influence. At least that is my dream. And look, I know we already did this once in the Spain series, but I love doing it, okay? I'm going to go ahead and set up trade routes with everybody in the world that has any type of meaningful, sizable market. Because these telephones will sell like there is no tomorrow. The Manchu market, listen, let them use the telephone. Is it a bit weird that they can use it without, you know, electricity? Maybe, but maybe they just call their friends over in the United States with a underwater line. Listen, I don't think about that too much. I mostly think about making infinite money. And you're going to see those trade routes really pumping up some numbers. And there you have it. Compulsory primary school. That is what I'm talking about. Now, ideally, we would be shifting away from religious schools, but you can see it right here. Because of state religion, that is not even on the debate table. I think, honestly, that's pretty okay. We might consider at this point going for free trade just because of the industrialists. I mean, honestly, I didn't even make that connection, but whoever wins the election doesn't really matter because the chancellor is whoever is the most powerful IG. Let's take a look at this, actually, where the country is ruled by a democratically elected parliament. Parliamentary elective. Under parliamentary elective, rulers are chosen from the leader of the interest group in government type with the most clout. Honestly, I would like if that was changed to be the most votes out of all the people in government, but hey, be that as it may, one thing is clear. These people are in control of everything here because, my God, they are powerful. And my God, we might want to go towards propertied women here. I thought the petite bourgeoisie might be against this, but they are not. So I'm going to say absolutely. Give me a higher workforce ratio rather than a higher birth rate. We have so many unemployed people right now, okay? Let's just get that done. And folks, it is so over for the Ottoman Empire. We have freed Bulgaria, we have freed Syria, we have freed Iraq. The latter two obviously going to be our pawns. We're going to move in, we're going to take them over. Let me just check this. Do we have a truce with them? Yeah, we do. Once that truce is over, this will be a colonial possession right here, without a doubt. Currently, we also now took the Sinai, which makes it so that I can go ahead and build the Suez Canal. And quite frankly, I gotta actually put that on top of the queue because this is going to take ages as is. Oh my God. This is a sight to behold. Oh nope, don't do that, do this one. I am such a massive, massive fan of seeing this. Now, all we need to do to really actually make beautiful Balkan borders is to go in right here and ensure that Greece gets its land back as well. The Ottoman Empire, yeah, that is a rump state, okay? The Ottoman Empire is essentially done. Oh, what are the Russians doing? They are annexing? Yeah, they are annexing Bukhara. So the Russians, after being beaten like whining dogs here in Constantinople, are just retreating into the steppes to do some imperialism there. And check this out. Excuse me? We have a Japanese vanguard state. An agrarian council republic vanguard state. Going for cooperative ownership, in all fairness, but oh my God. Communism in Japan. It's more likely than you think. Ooh, and the German... Oh my god! Did the German Empire always have a treaty port here? So we're behind on the actual colonization right here. This civil war, by the way, is still raging, but you can see... Wait a minute. Oh my god, the commune is gonna win. Wait, what? No! The commune is gonna win because they're holding Paris! And we didn't help them. And they even offered us Savoy. They are cooperative, but okay, well, we'll see, okay? That is going to be a bit awkward, but I don't care about this right now. I care about imperialism. And hey, that one is at least working out. Now let me ask you something. Can the Americans give us all the oil that we need? They are producing oil. Here we go. And they have a lot of potential. If I start importing here, I would actually be in a position where I might be able to change some of our productions. And if we change our productions here, like for example canning, I can bring up the standard of living. I'm going to do this and I'm going to subsidize these industries for just a hot minute, just so that we can get some oil going from the American market. We don't really have any oil currently in our possession that is really noticeable or important, so we gotta take what we can. And look at that, literally a day later, by the way, the US are offering us a trade agreement. They know what's going on. They're like, yep, buy our oil. We got a ton of oil and we want to sell it to you. And so the commune keeps existing. I'm gonna be honest with you. They are cooperative. But we are so bourgeois right now. We are so intense when it comes to the market, to ownership, to the industrialists literally dominating this republic, and maybe we sold out after defeating the Pope. I'm gonna declare them a rival. We could cooperate with them. We're still not friends with Germany. Again, currently we literally have no allies in this world. But the French most certainly are not our friends. Savoy, Corsica, they both must be freed from this communist dictatorship. I can't believe they won that. My calculation, I think the calculation of the Italian politicians was that they would lose so clearly. And then the French commune held steadfast. That is unbelievable to me. They actually did it. I think I'm going to go ahead and try to actually become friends with Germany. Austria, honestly, I'm no longer really against them. I'm just not that interested in them either. Britain, big opponent. So the French, the British, the Russians. I gotta become friends with the Austrians, I'm sorry. Otherwise, we don't have enough allies. And quite frankly, the Americans as well. These are our friends. The French, the British, and the Russians are our long-term enemies here. This guy's name is Marc Antonio. Marc Antonio is our new chancellor. Excuse me? Alright, what is his ideology? That's a big question, because propertied women just plummeted to 0. He is a radical, so we're back to just basic radicalism. I'm gonna keep this in the debate stage because this is a 100% debate. Nobody's really against it, unless there's anything really that any of these factions want to push through. Let me just check this right here. Child labor allowed, private schools. Right, but we got state religion. Laissez-faire is interesting, and I think if we continue down this path, we're definitely going to pass this. We're going to become a bourgeois hellscape in many, many ways. I'm going to leave this law in the debate stage entirely because nobody's really against it, especially in government. It's just that the most vocal supporter has now disappeared. There goes my oil supply, I guess. What's going on here? What are you rebelling over? So we have a revolution of the peasants. I'm pretty sure the only difference here is the universal suffrage law compared to wealth voting right here. I'm gonna be honest with you, obviously I would be siding with the good old US of A, the ones with the wealth voting, because, well, again, wow, that is incredible industrialist supremacy right here. And goddamn, this is a first for me, and this is definitely just because I'm playing the economy in a way that, you know, does make sense, but isn't optimal. But I actually like what came out here. We're looking at an economic crisis, and you might ask, well, why are we looking at an economic crisis? Yep, it's this right here. It is the American peasant revolt combined with this British Raj revolt right here. We were selling so much into these directions that now that they are rebelling, my economy retracted by 10 million. I kid you not, by 10 million. I have a vested interest that these rebellions are over as quickly as possible. I don't even know, what are you rebelling over? Universal suffrage, wealth voting. I think that is what they're going for here. Guaranteed liberties. Yeah, the rest seems about equal. I don't really have a horse in this race one way or another, but I gotta tell you straight up, Jesus Christ, this is ruining me. Yo, two great news. Look at this destroyer. We can now build it. I'm very happy to see that, but most importantly, look at him. Teddy. He is defending Florida against, whoever this guy is, General Jubal Reagan. What a weird, weird name. But let me tell you one thing, I'm pretty sure Teddy is going to win this. Is he actually, shouldn't he be, what is he, an intelligentsia? Wow, he is a member of this government going against the rule folk. Interesting. And oh my god, this economic crisis that is now occurring is giving me the chance to do something that I never have to do in normal play. I don't technically have to do it right now, we could still salvage this, but I kind of don't want to. I think there's so much potential in this, okay? We have a republic now that is proud, a republic that stands on its own 2 feet and is trusted in the hands of the industrialists, or at least that is what they want you to believe. But all of a sudden, the entire spook, the ghost, the spirit of the free trade, of everybody is free, has liberties, and we cooperate with the Americans, with the British, it's completely gone. The rebellion right here in the Americas has led to the case where our oil and where our phones are no longer coming in. The rebellion here in India, of course, has led to raw resources not making it to us and some luxury resources not being exported. Now you might say, okay, big deal, who cares? But there is a big deal here, and it's a compounding issue, again, that I don't see that often, but that is really cool to explore. As we go deeper and deeper into the fold, we could save ourselves, you know, obviously, we gotta stimulate how much money we make. I could make I could shave basically the army a little bit, for example, to make more money, but as it stands, the remaining credit actually gets lower and lower, so deeper and deeper into the negatives as longer we go. And then all of a sudden, we are making no money. We are down from the income here, you can see it, and now the question is, why is this happening? That is happening because being in default gives us a negative throughput modifier. This hampers the entire economy, so we are actually in an economic crisis, which I love to see. You would never see this, of course, if you really min-max, and on top of that, it makes it so, if I can find them, that our government administrations are producing worse and worse, meaning the tax waste goes up and up, meaning the economy keeps crashing. We have an economic crisis on our hands in a video game where I never thought that we would see this. Let me ask you, France, are you experiencing they didn't actually go bankrupt during their revolution? That is insane. You're kidding. Surely you're kidding. What about the British? They aren't. Are we the only nation right now going bankrupt? In default. The Americans are defaulting as well. This is an economic crisis that started with the revolutions in India and in America, and it hit us full. I'm gonna be honest with you, I wouldn't have to declare bankruptcy here. But this failure of the industrialists is something that I love to see. We are free now. We will make it back. Our tax waste, and you can see this right here, in even a single week, I would argue, we are going to make it back into good graces. Look at this. All of a sudden, our income is great. Our GDP will recover. But this national dilemma, this national embarrassment that was brought to us by the free market, I mean, that surely will impact who we are as a nation. Who is to blame for this? That is something that will remain as a stain now on our honor and, maybe most importantly, well, everything when it comes to our fight ability. I love this. This is the first economic crisis that I have had just in regular play without manually pushing myself towards it ever. I love it. We are now just one of many, basically, competitors in this world. God, I absolutely love that. And well, if it isn't a huge surge in the petite bourgeoisie. The reactionaries are gaining because the party got crashed. Italy, after being unified, after taking all the land that they deserve and desire, suddenly underwent a crisis. And with that, maybe the Republic isn't up for debate, but the question of who should rule surely is. Because the Free Trade Party, I mean, how much can we trust them after everything is said and done? They have run this economy, they have run this country. Maybe it is time for, something a bit more decisive. And oh boy, you can immediately see it. Not only are tons of people angry at this old order, no, the Free Trade Party lost massively. And all of a sudden, we are merely an unacceptable government. And the best alternative we have is to kick out the industrialists from this entire ordeal and reinstitute basically just the rulership of those that are relatively small in this country. Oh, and we actually... okay, Giulio Bonaccorsi. Jesus Christ. So, he's an authoritarian, a political operator, and he's meticulous. And he leads the petite bourgeoisie. So now we had the downfall of the papacy, we have the downfall of the economic system where everything is based on trade, And now, all of a sudden, we're looking at an authoritarian. Now, he's ruling with a radical, which makes this a bit more interesting, because this radical is definitely not in favor of rolling back our rights, at least when it comes to voting and the parliament itself. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think we got some juicy moves coming right here. I definitely would like to roll back protected speech a little bit if possible. Although, honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this. We might go... Man, I think single party state would be cool, but... Honestly, yeah, it would show the unity in the country, wouldn't it? What we have to realize is that we switched to cultural exclusion because the industrialists at the time had a reformer. Now Marc-Antonio Tardio has taken over and he is a radical. They don't really care about that anymore. But you know who really, really cares about this? The petite bourgeoisie. We obviously crashed because we cooperated with other peoples, with other nations. Because we let them vote in our elections. Because the foreign businessman from France, from Austria, from Germany, from Britain is worth more than the common Italian today. And I think it is time that we counteract this. The petite bourgeoisie will lead this charge. Who's opposed to this? The church? Come on, they have been disgraced in this republic for decades now. The intelligentsia? Jesus, we don't have an intelligentsia. They never recovered. We don't have this elite that tells you that all people are equal. No, we are going to push this through because this clearly was the disaster that led to this economic crisis. And you know, while we are at it, let's reduce the welfare state. A good Italian is a working Italian. All these wretches hanging about? Come on, let's get rid of that. And now the rebellion comes once more for Germany. The communist German Empire. Tell me about the French Commune. World Revolution! They are seeking world revolution. So is communist Germany. We have to intervene here. The old order is crumbling before our very eyes, and I gotta tell you, I can already smell that this revolution is not gonna be good for our economy. We need to become autark. That is without a doubt. We have to be completely independent of anybody else in this world, because this is a disaster. And I'm gonna be honest with you, financially, I think we're going to be so isolationist. I can't intervene in this, but I will support the Germans when it comes to trading them weaponry and so on. Or maybe I should send a small expeditionary force. Can we really let the communists win here? Oh, how can we even defend them, though? We're gonna have communist Germany and France. This is disgusting. Oh my god. The measure of a skull. Professors at the University of Tunisia believe new theories employing craniometry can be used to demonstrate racial differences, rallying support for ethnostate. There are, of course, individual differences which can provide some astounding insights into the nature of base and criminal traits. But the differences between larger groups are our current focus. I have here the skull of a normal North Italian citizen of sound mind and body and life, kindly donated to our institution. It represents the highest stage of humanity. Now, as I'm sure you can imagine, some of other specimens in my collection are substantially less advanced. Fascinating. Fetch the calipers, or don't waste time on... No. Fetch the calipers. This is the natural consequence of being as petite bourgeoisie, of being as imperialist as we've been. Have we not dominated people everywhere in the world? Have we not taken what we, perceive to be ours? Now that we became a free trade haven and everything around us has suddenly collapsed, isn't this the one right answer? That is the exact discourse that is currently happening in our Italy. Something that you don't actually see all that often. I was disappointed. We did not actually get to go, with the anarchist. Is he even still out there? Let me double check this. What a brief, disappointing appearance he made, eh? But the way I see this, yeah, we couldn't go with that, but we are going with something unbelievably radical. There he is. He's still around. Enrico Malatesta. One day. I didn't intervene. I didn't do it, just because we are incredibly isolationist. But I'm looking at this now. Wait a minute, what is happening? Oh, the Greeks. Oh, God, I was scared there. The Greeks are rebelling. Yeah, we're not gonna let that happen at all, but I'm pretty sure the Germans are gonna lose here. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see communist Germany. Bruh, come on. Our friendship with the Germans is gone, I'll tell you that much. Oh no. I would most certainly call this a significant development. You can see I'm shifting this around now a little bit as well, just because we currently don't have the budget. That is just what happens if, well, your population really explodes, quite fundamentally. But that's okay. We can deal with this. We are in a crisis, but we have, well, come out of worse situations, I think. Agrarianism might be in line where we want to go. Maybe working on the common field is a good alternative to that hellscape that the industrialists are promising. Could go with no police, but that does not sound correct at all. We currently really have a big dissonance between the petite bourgeoisie and the agrarian party. Not when it comes to the citizenship law, but when it comes to every other law. Without a doubt, the petite bourgeoisie would like to go in a bit more radical direction, but I think for the moment we are at a bit of a stalemate. Happy at the very least that we can hold this right here. Ooh, what is going on in our minimized forces? We have the armed forces as authoritarian. It's crazy to me that they are so marginalized. Maybe it is to do with the literacy rate. It is now going up. I'm very happy to see this, but yeah, very marginalized for sure. And oh my god, there they are. The vanguard state has risen in Germany. This is a hellscape. Listen. We are recovering, we're fine, we're growing slowly, that is part of the game, okay? We're not min-maxing here in this house. But we are against global capitalism. This has to be said. This is where our petite bourgeoisie has pivoted after this economic crisis during the tumultuous 90s. The 80s were a year of strife, the 90s were a year of, or a decade of crisis, I mean. But what we are now left with is a French commune and a Germany, both of which have risen, promising world revolution. They seek to spread socialist revolution across the world, converting other nations to their cause. Britain, at this point, can no longer be an enemy of ours. We need to try and work with them. We need to contain what is now sitting at our border as natural friends. God, that is worrying. On the other hand, the Russians, honestly, I'm almost over them. We have established our authority right here. We shall establish our authority right there. I think we have bigger fish to fry. The United States of America, I would also argue, worthy of some friendship at the very least. We have a massive powder keg right here in Europe. And I hope that our republic, but also that our petite bourgeoisie and our rural folk can stand the test of time. Because, oh my god, 1900... and we have a communist Germany and a French commune. Our workers, by the way, are getting more and more educated. Let's actually check in on somebody here. I think that is a worthwhile cause to do. The laborers right here, they are at literacy 12.3%. Their education access is decently high. I can live with this. 46%. That sounds good to me. They gotta get there, obviously. It's gonna take some time, but I am looking forward to this because these are gonna be chaotic decades towards the end here. Communist Germany and Communist France. Hello? I don't know what to say. We have to be very cautious navigating our imperialist ambitions here because we are looking at a titan of industry now wanting to start a world revolution. Let's see how it goes. For the time being, what a disaster of an episode. What a disaster of an episode, but I love it. I will see you later, alligator.